Long before there were pharmacies, there were healers. Mothers, fathers, and neighbors who turned to the earth for wellness. Welcome to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast with Jim Applegate. Each week we explore the plants, traditions, and time-honored remedies that connect us to that ancient wisdom, so you can bring it into your modern life.
Hello and welcome back to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast. So we're getting down to the last few of the systems of the body that we've been covering over the last little while. So we're going to talk about the muscular system. You know, most people, when you talk about the muscular system, they're like, oh yeah, the muscles that help our body move, but there's a little bit more to it. And the thing about muscles is it keeps our body strong, it helps it to move, and it helps it to keep us alive. So it's one of those, well, all of the systems are essential. I mean, they're all what keep us alive, but there's some things that we're going to talk about today about the muscles and the muscular system. So if you remember when we were younger, if you ever talked about the muscular system, there are 3 different kinds of muscles. So you have skeletal muscles, and those also include tendons and ligaments. And what those are connected to our skeletal frame, which enable us to move. They're muscles that, as they expand and contract, and the way the muscles work, they pull and push, and they allow our body to move. So those are the skeletal muscles. And quite often when you think about this, the skeletal muscles, that's what we think of. So then there's two other kinds of muscles. So there's the smooth muscles, and sometimes the heart muscle gets lumped in with that, but they've actually found that the heart muscle is a little different. So they call that cardiac muscle. So you have a smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. And the heart muscle is a little bit different, but it falls under the muscular system, and that's what pumps the blood through our body. Those smooth muscles, though, are some of our organs, but it's also the blood vessels, the tubes basically that move the blood through our body. And it's kind of interesting, like we've been learning a little bit more about, we have our heart, which pumps the blood throughout our body, but it actually doesn't do it all on its own. Some of these smooth muscles actually help to pump blood especially from the extremities, from our feet, from our legs and stuff. Some people call it like a second heart, just next to your knees, kind of towards the insides of your legs. And those are just veins that basically help constrict and move blood through the body. So the whole point of the muscular system is basically it helps hold our frame up, because our skeletal system is not connected. It's all a bunch of different pieces, and it's the muscular system that's the glue that holds that together with your tendons and ligaments and things like that. But the muscles help hold us together and hold us upright. And if you have poor posture, then that can lead to several different health issues, digestion issues, and everything like that. So that's why the posture part of the muscular system is so important. Also, our muscular system keeps us mobile, helps us to move. So it's really important. And the muscular system helps with our overall strength. That's how we gauge our strength, is how much we can lift and how much we can move and everything like that. And also, the thing about the muscular system is it helps with our metabolism. So it helps our body maintain all sorts of different things that it needs to do. So like if you look at when you get really cold and you shiver, basically it's the muscles contracting and releasing really, really fast to increase the body temperature, to build heat. So, a lot of these, this is part of why the muscular system is so important. And if you don't keep your muscular system healthy, you can have fatigue, stiffness, difficulty moving, cramps, aches, pains, and a lot of them just come down to the muscular system not being healthy. So what are some ways to keep the muscular system healthy? Well, we always go back to hydration. If we don't have enough water, the muscles don't have, it's water that helps the fluidity of the muscles to help them to move. So hydration is really, really important. Minerals, that's what our body uses to help the muscles be healthy, to be able to keep them moving and doing what the muscles need to do to keep that strength and that posture of our body. Another really important thing is protein. Our muscles are made of proteins. And so, and quite often when we talk about proteins, it doesn't just mean, a steak or meat. There's other ways to get protein in your diet. Beans, legumes, a lot of vegetables have a lot of protein. So you really want to, when you're thinking about protein, think about variations and different ways of getting that protein into your diet. Protein also helps with elasticity. So having the protein and the collagen from our food or from other sources, that helps with the elasticity of the muscles, but also the ligaments and tendons. And the thing about if the ligaments and tendons don't have that elasticity, then that's when you pull things or stretch things, or that's when, you can get hurt. So having that collagen and that elasticity is really, really important. Another thing that's really important is movement. And of course, where we're going to go with that, the rebounder. The rebounder is such an amazing form of exercise because it moves everything all at once. So as you're just merely bouncing on the rebounder, you're moving and stretching and pulling and keeping that movement in the muscles throughout your entire body. So it actually is working that heart muscle, working those veins, working that second heart that I was talking about. That's really essential for movement. And so that's why we always go back to the rebounder. We really like that because it's simple, but it works everything all at once. And another thing that is massively important for all of the systems of the body, but especially the muscles, is rest and sleep. When we're asleep, that's when our muscles rebuild themselves. That's when they strengthen themselves, is during sleep. And that's why Dr. James would always say, take your minerals at night, because that's when your body will take those minerals and use them to rebuild and reconstruct any damage that has been done to your muscular system or whatever other part of your body has got damage to it. So let's talk a little bit about the herbal formulas that we use that go along with the muscular system. So first and foremost, the one that everybody goes to, the one that we all think about, is Tissue Mend. And the reason that one is because Tissue Mend is essential for not only helping us to build the muscle, it keeps the muscles healthy and strong, but it also helps them to be able to have that movement and that elasticity. The herbs in Tissue Mend help the muscles, because our muscles are kind of like they're fibrous. They're like a bunch of fibers, and Tissue Mend helps those fibers be strong and connected with each other. So Tissue Mend is really, really wonderful for anything to do with the muscular system. Anytime you have any injury or sprains or muscle fatigue, pulled tendons, pulled ligaments, anything like that, Tissue Mend is amazing, because if it's a pulled something, Tissue Mend is going to give it what it needs to rebuild, but it's also going to give it that elasticity that was missing to cause you to have pulled it in the first place. So Tissue Mend is really, really a wonderful herb. And so to go along with that is Throbbies, anytime you have any pain. But the nice thing about Throbbies is it doesn't really mask the pain. It doesn't take away the pain, but it helps your body, helps it so you can cope with the pain, but it also helps relax things. So sometimes pain is just a matter of the muscles being tight for too long, and Throbbies will help to relax that and soothe that and ease that quite a bit. Another formula that we use quite often with the muscular system is varicose. So varicose basically helps with that elasticity that we've been talking about, but it also helps to move blood through those extremities. So it really helps to nourish that second heart that we talked about, the one in your legs that can to help move the blood flow through your legs. And it also helps with those smooth muscles. It helps them be smooth so that they can function the way they need to be. So varicose is really, really wonderful for that. Arthrite is another great one. Not only does arthrite nourish the joints, but it also helps with the ligaments and the flexibility in the joints, especially like if there's chronic issues or chronic degradation of the joints and the muscles around the joints. Arthrite's going to give those joints and those muscles the nutrients that they need to be healthy. So arthrite's really, really great. Another thing that kind of goes along with that and a lot of muscular health issues. So for example, fibromyalgia is a muscular issue. There's several other muscular issues. And where that problem comes in is you've got a buildup of toxins or a buildup of uric acid that you're not able to move out. So Bladney becomes key anytime there is stiffness and soreness in the muscles. You've got a buildup of especially that uric acid. And the uric acid, when it builds up in the body, it's not a liquid. It actually crystallizes. And those crystals can tear the muscles. And that's where you can that's like with fibromyalgia, where they have so much pain, is because basically anytime their muscles either contract or release, the uric crystals that are in between those fibers cut the fibers and it creates pain. So just from breathing or walking or just moving any little bit and they have pain. And that's why Bladney is such a wonderful formula for that, because it dissolves those crystals in the muscles, but it also moves it out of the body so they don't come back. So we kind of like touched on minerals, potassium, magnesium, calcium. Those are essential for muscle health. And it also, our muscles use that calcium and magnesium for contraction and relaxation. So in order for the muscles to be able to do what they need to do, it requires having minerals in the body. A great story to go along with this are growing pains. When our kids were really young, the first a couple of them had really, really bad growing pains, and we tried all sorts of things, but they would still wake up in the night crying and in so much pain because they were having these growing pains. And then we discovered that if we just gave them PM minerals just before bed, they would not have any growing pains. Like all of that pain would be gone. Or if your teenagers are prone to shin splints, the PM minerals really help make that, because the shin splints, the growing pains, the muscles are being pulled and stretched, and they just don't have that elasticity. And the PM minerals gives the muscles what they need so they can have that elasticity. So after our third or fourth child, I think it was our third child that had the growing pains pretty bad, when we discovered that PM minerals fixed it. None of our children since have had it. And we tell all sorts of people that, say their child is really suffering with growing pains and not being able to get enough sleep at night because they're in so much pain, and PM minerals fixes it within 1 or 2 nights. It's just really amazing. And, just keep that. You want to keep it going. If you're prone to Charlie horses in the night, again, that's a mineral deficiency. Generally, it's like either calcium or magnesium. PM minerals will replenish that and give your body what it needs so you don't have those cramps or the nighttime muscle lockups or the knots or whatever. So along with minerals, another formula that we talk about with the muscular system is the silica DE. So silica is one of those formulas that we have that you wish more people knew about it and could take it. a very common thing that we suggest it for is bone spurs when people have bone spurs or because there's problems with their bones. And in our episode on the skeletal system, we talk about that. But the thing about silica is that it is what makes our bodies elastic. It gives that stretchability, the ability for the muscles to contract. So it's really essential and important, and it doesn't take much. So if you look on all of our formulas, every single one of them, Dr. James added diatomaceous earth. And so diatomaceous earth can be used as a flow agent, but to help the herbs move through the machinery to get into the capsules easier. But that's not why we put it in there. Dr. James wanted to put silica or the diatomaceous earth in all of the formulas because of what it does for the body. So it's extremely high in silica, which is our body uses for elasticity. So anytime any formula that you take, you're getting the body is getting what it needs to build collagen to be able to have movement because, a lot of times an issue of health is because there's too many toxins blocking or for whatever reason. And the silica helps give that body what it needs. But also with the amount of silica that's just in one capsule, there's about the equivalent of half of a football field of surface area in just that little bit of diatomaceous earth. And so that surface area makes it so if it comes in contact with any parasites or anything like that, it actually physically harms the parasite to the point where it can't survive any longer. So that's another reason why diatomaceous earth is in every single one of the formulas. It's really, really wonderful, and it's a really amazing thing to have. But like I said, it doesn't take much. It just takes a little bit, and that's why we put a little bit of diatomaceous earth in all of the formulas. So another one of our vitamin mineral type formulas is herbal MSM. So MSM is a byproduct of DMSO. There's a whole long list of things, but basically what MSM is it gives our body the sulfur that it needs. Again, that we don't need very much. It's just a little tiny bit. Sulfur is what makes our cells permeable to nutrients. So if you're having a hard time, for example, absorbing the minerals or absorbing any minerals or any nutrients, sometimes it's just that you're a little deficient in sulfur, and the herbal MSM will give you that little boost so that you can get that calcium to the muscles or get the magnesium to the muscles that they need. Fection is another one. That one for anytime you have inflammation or any immune system or any stresses on the bodies that can cause any of those things can cause muscle discomfort. Fection will help bring down that inflammation, cleanse the system and ease some of those issues that come along with that. So fection is also really helpful for the muscular system. So there are lots of things you can do to keep your muscular system healthy, but the things that we've touched on are some of the herbs or minerals and vitamins. Those keep the muscular system healthy. Just a little bit extra movement, and you know me, I love the rebounder. It's have one in my office, have one at home. Well, I have two at home, but we love having the rebounder because it's such an easy thing to do. It doesn't, and you don't have to spend hours and hours on the rebounder. 5 or 10 minutes on the rebounder moves every single muscle in your body, and you get that movement and keeps the mobility in the muscles that you want. NPM minerals before bed. Anytime you're having sore or achy muscles, a warm bath with Epsom salt and baking soda is amazing. In the bath, the water, when you put Epsom salt, which is mostly magnesium in that water, it basically absorbs through your skin and right straight into the muscles. So if you have sore legs, a bath in Epsom salt is amazing because the Magnesium is the relaxing mineral, so it helps your muscles to relax. So that's always great. Hydration is also key. Like I said, water is what helps the muscles to move. So you want to remember to keep yourself hydrated. Don't let yourself get dehydrated. So just remember that your muscles are what do all the heavy lifting in your body. They do all the hard work. So make sure you give them a little bit of love back. Just these few little things. Simple movement, good minerals, good herbs will help keep your muscles moving and keep you mobile and keep you pain-free for many years to come. You can find any of the formulas that we've talked about on our website at drugfreehelpstore.com. And there's also, you can get a copy of The Healer in Every Home that talks a little bit about different formulas and different things you can do to keep your family healthy. It's been a pleasure visiting with you, and I will talk to you next time.
Listening to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast with Jim Applegate. Visit drugfreehelpstore.com to download your free Healer in Every Home guidebook and explore herbal formulas that support your health naturally. Be sure to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with someone who loves natural living as much as you do. Thanks for joining us, and remember, true healing starts at home.
It is not the intent of professional herbal instruction or any persons associated therewith to diagnose or prescribe. The intent is only to offer herbal information for your consideration. In the event you use this information without your doctor's approval, you are prescribing for yourself, which is your God-given right. But professional herbal instruction or any persons associated herewith assume no responsibility. The claims and statements made on this podcast have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.